And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to another broadcast here on 956sports.com. Coming to you on a Friday night from Laredo, Texas. It's playoff action between the Eagle Pass Eagles and the Sharyland Rattlers. Again, I'm Joe Bowling with you. Leslie to my right side, DeMarcus Clark on the camera, and welcome aboard for our broadcast of this first game of a best-of-3 series between these two squads. Already on the field, Eagle Pass ready to go, and the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers, who will be the visitors on the scoreboard. Run down that lineup for you as we go on the fly. Again, thanks for joining us here, live streaming audio and video coming your way. For the Rattlers, they'll lead things off with Pancho Martinez. He's at second base, followed by George Maldonado, the designated hitter, hitting second. Eric Gutierrez, the pitcher tonight, will be hitting third, followed by Tres Barrera, who's at third base, hitting cleanup. Luis Trevino, the catcher, hits in the 5 spot. Joey Esquivel is the first baseman. He'll hit 6th. And Alex Venegas, the left fielder, will hit 7th. The number 8 hitter tonight for the Sharyland Rattlers will be Mario Vea. And the number 9 hitter is going to be the center fielder, Eddie Garza. It's Martinez, Maldonado, Gutierrez, Barrera, Trevino, Esquivel, Venegas, Vea, and Garza for the Sharyland Rattlers. For the home squad, the Eagle Pass Eagles, they'll lead things off with Eric Gonzalez, followed by Devin Torres. Tino Del Bosque will hit in the 3rd spot. Danny Flores will hit in cleanup. Homer Flores, the DH, will hit in the 5 spot, followed by Diego Gaona, the catcher, in the 6th spot. Hitting 7th is Javi Cordona. He's in left field. And hitting 8th is R.J. Ruiz, the second baseman. The number 9 hitter tonight for the Eagle Pass Eagles will be Philip Serna, and he'll be playing in right field. It's Gonzalez, Torres, Del Bosque, Flores, and Gaona, Cordona, Ruiz, and Serna for the Eagle Pass Eagles. We are set to go with the first hitter of the night. Pancho Martinez will step in for the Sharyland Rattlers. And again, welcome to our broadcast here. 7 innings scheduled tonight. First pitch was scheduled to start at 7:30 as we are ready to go between these two teams. The pitcher tonight for the Eagle Pass Eagles is going to be Dylan Elgazaval, and he's a right-hander, and he's a young hurler on the mound, and I was told in a scouting report that he is probably on the depth chart their 3rd best pitcher, so they're going to try to go with him, see if he can get the job done and save their number 1 and 2 pitchers for tomorrow's action. Again, this is the best-of-3 series. Tomorrow's first game is scheduled to start at 4 o'clock, and if necessary, they'll play a third game approximately a half hour after the conclusion of game number 2. Pancho Martinez to lead it off for the Sharyland Rattlers. Top of the first inning, we're ready to go. Following him will be Jorge Maldonado and Eric Gutierrez. Anybody gets on, Tres Barrera. First pitch of the evening is in there, and it's low for a ball, 1-0, and that's the way we start. Elgazaval on the mound. Diego Gaona, the catcher, today for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Defensively, Danny Flores out in first base. R.J. Ruiz at second. Third baseman is Tino Del Bosque. Next pitch coming in and taking all the way for a strike is Martinez, evens a count of 1-1. Shortstop tonight for the Eagle Pass Eagles is Eric Gonzalez in the outfield. They've got Javi Cordona in left, Devin Torres in center field, and Philip Serna will be patrolling right field. 1-1 the count. For next pitch coming is a check swing, and he holds up and takes ball 2. And it's a 2-1 count on Pancho Martinez. Top of the first inning, scoreless ball game. Martinez, the leadoff hitter for the Sharyland Rattlers from Laredo, Texas on a Friday night. Next pitch coming in from Elgazaval is a pitch that misses out of the strike zone and takes the count now to 3-1, and the Sharyland Rattlers look to get their leadoff man aboard to start things off. Wind blowing across the field here this evening to start this ball game from right to left. Martinez hasn't swung the bat yet. On the 3-1 pitch, he's swinging and hits it hard, deep down the left field line. It's curling foul and out of reach as Javi Cordona gave chase. So a green light given to Pancho Martinez in the opening frame, and he turned on a pitch, pulled it foul, and takes the count full to 3-2. Driving out here, there's a couple of routes you can take out of the Rio Grande Valley. I can assure you we'll take the other one as we come our next way, because if I would have counted them, probably 25 stoplights, minimum, 23 of the 25 dead red as we came across. Next pitch coming to Martinez. Check swing, that's out in the right field, and hangs in the air for Philip Serna to camp beneath it and haul it in for the first out of the night. Martinez flies out on a 3-2 pitch, and it brings in Maldonado. Maldonado DH tonight for the Sharyland Rattlers. He's hitting for Walter Main, who is the right fielder tonight for the Rattlers. El Gazaval on the mound brings the first one home, and it's low for ball one to Maldonado. Maldonado, another right-hander hitter in this Sharyland lineup. Hits here in the top of the first inning. Scoreless ball game. Nobody on. One out. Maldonado waits for the next one from El Gazaval. Got the sign from Gaona. Brings it in. And it's in the strike zone for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Martinez, the leadoff hitter. Worked the count full. Flied out to left or to right. 1-1 the count to Maldonado. Next pitch coming in from El Gazaval. Is in there for a strike call. A nice pitch. 1-2 to Maldonado. Gutierrez on deck. Small crowd on hand, but for the Eagle Pass Eagles, they're filing in more and more as we speak. The student section just arrived. 1-2 pitch, headed home. Outside, just missed the corner and takes the count even to 2-2 on Maldonado. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Second hitter, top of the first inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. Made the trip out here to Laredo to take on this Eagle Pass team. Working on the mound, Gazaval before the next pitch. Time is called. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Maldonado. As the student section files in, I see some drums and various noisemakers making their way in the stands. Next pitch, a breaking ball, snaps out of the strike zone. And Maldonado held up and took ball 3. Second hitter in a row that El Gazaval has now worked the count full in this opening frame. That was a good breaking ball, though. Showed a lot of movement as it actually bent out of the strike zone, starting in there. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball into left field. Back goes the left fielder, back to the track, to the wall, and see you later, gone. Maldonado crushes one on a 3-2 pitch. It's 1-0 Rattlers. Unloaded on that one did Maldonado. Cardona got back to the fence, looked up, and watched it sail out of here for the first run of the night. 1-0 Sharyland, and that's the way the scoring starts in this ball game with a blast off the bat of Maldonado. Brings in Eric Gutierrez. Gutierrez, one of the happiest guys in the park right now. He's the starting pitcher tonight for the Sharyland Rattlers and knows that when he takes the mound in the bottom of this first inning, he'll have at least a run to work with after that home run off the bat of Maldonado. El Gazaval looks in for the sign, brings the first one home to Gutierrez. Swinging, missing, strike 1. On deck is Trace Barrera. It was guaranteed to hit here in this first inning after that round tripper hit by Maldonado. Gutierrez waits. He's in the hole 0-1. And the pitch coming. In there for a strike. So good job by El Gazaval not to let that home run shake him up. Comes in firing strikes to Gutierrez. Has him in the hole 0-2. Looks in, gets the sign, brings it home, and Gutierrez swings and hits it into center field. Over there is Devin Torres into left center, reaches up and makes the catch. Fly out 8 to center field as Gutierrez is retired, and indications are that this Sharyland team is going to be hitting El Gazaval because all 3 balls hit have been into the outfield. Ball up just a bit on that fly ball out off the bat of Gutierrez, and it brings in Trace Barrera. Barrera, the cleanup hitter, hits from the right side. Base is empty. 2 out, 1 run across. Sharyland up 1-0 here in the top of the first. Pitch coming. Away is ball 1. 1-1 to Barrera. Luis Trevino stands on deck. Barrera will have to reach for Trevino to hit here in the first. El Gazaval looks in for the sign. 1-0 the count. Time is called. by Barrera. United ISD, the host park here for this one. There's a breaking ball that stays inside and takes the count to 2-0 on Barrera. That was a sharper breaking ball than what El Gazaval had displayed earlier in this game. Now time is called as the Sharyland coach down at the third baseline. Can't believe that his hitter, Tres Barrera, wasn't hit by that pitch. The earlier breaking stuff that was thrown by El Gazaval had a sweep to it. That one was more of a sharp break as it got near the plate. Missed out of the strike zone, but the count's 2-0, and he's shown the ability to throw a couple of different pitches that break. Here's a pitch that's outside and misses for 3-0. A long inning already for El Gazaval. That's 16 pitches in the books here in the first inning. He's working on Tres Barrera, who's got a hitter's count with a 3-0. See if they give him a green light. Here it comes. Taking all the way. Strike call. 3-1. Ahead to the Eagle Pass first. Gonzalez, Torres, and Del Bosque scheduled to hit. They'll trail by at least a run. 3-1 the count. Next pitch to Barrera. After he steps out, he gets back in and waits for the next one. El Gazaval brings it. 3-1. Swinging a hard hit ball. Base hit into left field. Barrera with the second hit of the inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. It's a clean single on the left. He's aboard and brings in Luis Trevino. Trevino catching tonight for the Sharyland Rattlers. Hitting in the 5 spot. Bats here in the first with a runner at first base and 2 outs. If you're just joining us, the Rattlers on a Maldonado home run lead in the game 1-0. Top of the first inning with Luis Trevino at the plate. Down at first base, Barrera. Held on by Danny Flores, the first baseman for the Eagle Pass Eagles. El Gazaval will have to work from the stretch for the first time. Comes set, checks the runner, big lead, not going. Pitch is a breaking ball in there for a strike. 0-1 to Trevino. As El Gazaval snapped off a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Another big lead down at first base by Barrera. Strides out a little further. El Gazaval comes set. Brings it home. Swinging a hard hit ball to short. Past the shortstop into center field. It hopped over the shortstop Gonzalez's glove, and 2 are aboard. That ball took a big hop just as it got to the shortstop. No indication on the scoreboard, but I'm going to give him a hit on that. Again, it just skipped clean over the glove of the shortstop, who was in position to make the play and just was at a disadvantage on the hop. So 2 aboard on 2-out singles by Barrera and now Trevino, and it brings in Joey Esquivel. Esquivel, the first baseman, hits here in the first, and the first inning continues for the Sharyland Rattlers. 2 on, 2 out, the pitch. Swing and a hard hit ball into center field, but it's going to hang up, and Torres will put it away. So 3 fly ball outs in the inning for the Sharyland Rattlers, but a big fly ball sailed out of here. And after a half an inning, it's 1-0. Sharyland leads. This is live coverage of streaming audio and video coming your way. Eagle Pass taking on Sharyland's Rattlers. I'm Joe Bowling, and this is 956sports.com. Welcome again to our broadcast here on 956sports.com. I'm Joe Bowling with you. Coming to you from Laredo as the Sharyland Rattlers take the field for the first time tonight. And we head to the bottom of the first inning. Rattlers on top 1-0 thanks to a George Maldonado home run in the first inning. As Eagle Pass will hit, they'll send Eric Gonzalez, Devin Torres, and Tino Del Bosque to the plate. Anybody gets on here in the first, Danny Flores, the cleanup hitter, will get a chance. To the mound for the Sharyland Rattlers goes Eric Gutierrez. And again, he has a one-run lead in which to take care of as he starts his work. Again, on the mound will be Gutierrez. Behind the plate, Luis Trevino. As here we are in the bottom of the first inning. Eric Gonzalez, the shortstop, will lead things off. He'll bat from the left side against the left-hander. Gutierrez for the Sharyland Rattlers. Small crowd again on hand here for Sharyland for this opening game of this three-game series. Best of three, that is. Win 2 in a row and you move on. Gonzalez waits, takes, strike call. 0-1. They had a radar gun up here. One of the scouts sitting here scouting this club. We'll try to get some pitch counts as far as how fast these pitches are coming in. Next pitch is outside of the strike zone. Evens the count at 1-1 on Gonzalez. And as is the case with most scouts, they hide that radar gun rather quickly after they get that number. So, we'll see if we can get some of these fastballs at least. Kind of get an indication where Gutierrez is on the mound. Next pitch coming, swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Gonzalez, who was hammering away on that one. 1-2 the count to Gonzalez, leading it off here in the Eagle Pass first. Next pitch. Coming in. Outside for a ball. 2-2. Waiting for the next one is Gonzalez. Long look by Gutierrez. Gets the sign, brings it home. Swinging a pop-up foul ball out of play. Even keeps the count at 2-2. Gonzalez at the plate. Torres on deck for Eagle Pass as the Eagles trail 1-0. Two balls, two strikes. Gutierrez looks in for the sign from Trevino. Gets it, brings it home. Breaking ball high, ball 3. So a full count to Gonzalez to lead it off. Gonzalez gets back in, waits for the next one. Gutierrez ready, brings it home, the 3-2. Low, ball 4, and a leadoff walk. So just like that, the tying run aboard for the Eagle Pass Eagles here in the first inning. And it brings in Devin Torres. Torres, the center fielder, will also hit from the left side against the left-hander Gutierrez. One on, nobody out. Joey Escobar, the first baseman, will have to hold the runner on. Gutierrez works from the stretch, looks in for the sign from Luis Trevino. Comes set and brings it home. Instead throws to first. Back in time easily is Gonzalez. Defensively for the Sharyland Rattlers, Escobar down at first, Pancho Martinez down at second, Trace Barrera at third, and Mario Velez at short. In the outfield, Alex Venegas is in left, Eddie Garza is out in center field, and Walter Main is in right. A big gap out in right center field as they bunch over to the left side against Torres. There's the pitch. He bunts, and it's a pretty good one. Pitcher gets it, applies the tag. The sacrifice is good. Now they throw over to first, and the out is recorded. Down to second base goes Gonzalez. Torres retired, 1-3 on the putout, and it brings in Tino Del Bosque. Del Bosque, the third baseman, hits in the third spot for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Has a chance now to drive in a run as a tying run down at second base after the sacrifice was successfully pulled off by Torres. Gutierrez will continue to work from the stretch. A lead down at second by Gonzalez. And Gutierrez steps off. Bottom of the first, 1-0 ball game. Sharyland Rattlers lead, and time is called as Trevino wants to come out and talk to things over with his pitcher. Tomorrow, we're scheduled to start at 4 o'clock with Game 2 of this best 2 out of 3 series. Here we are, 1-0 game, and Tino Del Bosque at the plate takes the ball, 1-0. Gutierrez. After a full count on Gonzalez, lost him and walked him. He got Torres on the sacrifice. He's 1-0 on Del Bosque. Comes set and spins the next one home. Swing and a high pop up. That's a fair ball over on the first baseline, and it drops. It drops as the first baseman and pitcher converge. It's an infield hit for Del Bosque, and it's first and second. Pitcher came over. First baseman veered over as well, and they both looked up and watched as it dropped between them. 2 on. 1 out here in the first inning, and here comes a cleanup hitter for Eagle Pass. And that's Danny Flores. Flores, right-handed hitter. Chance now to capitalize on the miscue by the Sharyland Rattlers. 2 on as Flores stands in. They play him straight away. Time is called before the first pitch. Again, just a few noisemakers here by this Laredo Ball Club. Last year, I can remember a game we did in which it was no less than the environment of a World Cup soccer match. There's a foul ball in the stands. And it's an 0-1 count on Flores. So we're not to that level as far as the noisemaker goes as what we were last year. However, the huge drum down in front of me does provide a little bit of noise and atmosphere in which to play this game. 0-1 on Flores. 2 on, 1 out here in the Eagle Pass first. 1-0 game. Sharyland on top. Camera work by DeMarcus Clark trying to capture some of these fans in the stands. And the action in the field. Gutierrez on the mound in a jam here in the first inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. Flores trying to make it hurt after a walk, and then the infield pop fly that fell between a couple of fielders. Here's a swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt. And it's an 0-2 count now on Flores. And if ever Gutierrez could use a strikeout, it's right here. On deck is Homer Flores, but for Eagle Pass, they would like Danny Flores to come through here. He's in the hole 0-2. A lead at second by Gonzalez. Del Bosque off of first. Next pitch coming to Flores. Swing and a foul ball keeps him alive at the plate. We'll do it again at 0-2. We were screaming up the highway at, of course, speeds under the posted limits. And arrived prior to what we thought was a 7 o'clock first pitch. And then found out we had an extra half hour in which to prepare. Which meant those stoplights wouldn't have been so stressful, if you will, as we were trying to get here to this facility. No balls, 2 strikes on Danny Flores. Stands in from the right-hand side. Gutierrez from the stretch. Checks the runners and brings it home. Swinging a ground ball. Gutierrez makes the play. One play, that's at first. Out there, everybody moves up a base. And it's second and third now for Eagle Pass with 2 down. 1-3 on the put out as Flores is retired. And that brings in Homer Flores. Now Flores is a DH tonight for Eagle Pass. Hits in the 5 spot, and this is now a big at bat for him and his ball club, who have a chance to, at worst, even this game up, and at best take a lead here in the first inning after trailing 1-0, thanks to a home run off the bat of Maldonado in the top of this first inning. Flores waits. Gutierrez now will work from the windup. Second and third, 2 out, the pitch, and the dirt ball 1. On deck stands Diego Gaona. One and 0 the count. Both pitchers have had to work here in this first inning. Gutierrez brings it home to Flores. Swing and a miss. Evens the count at 1-1. In the top of the second inning, it'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters scheduled up for the Sharyland Rattlers. As Venegas, Vea, and Garza scheduled to hit. Now it's a 1-1 count on Flores. Gutierrez ready and brings the next one home. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Homer Flores. Gonzalez started the inning with a walk. He's down at third. Del Bosque reached on a pop-up that fell in the infield. He's down at second. Flores at the plate, 2-1 the count. That's now 15 pitches here in the first inning by Gutierrez. His counterpart, Dylan Elgazaval, had 20 pitches to get through the first. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 is a pitch outside, and Flores couldn't find it. Count even at 2-2. Sharyland's Rattlers within a strike of getting out of this first. Flores at the plate. Tying run at third. Lead run down at second. Steps back in and waits. Gutierrez ready. Gets the sign from Trevino. And time is called. Two on, 2 out here in the bottom of the first inning for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Again, our streaming video and audio coming your way here on 956sports.com live, and you can watch it on archive. Here's a pitch that's low for ball 3 to Homer Flores. And we still haven't had a ball hit out of the infield here in this first inning, but all kinds of action for the Eagle Pass Eagles. 3-2 the count on Flores. Runners at second and third and 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Gutierrez ready, brings a 3-2 home. Swing and a foul ball right back to the screen, and Flores was dead set on that one. Count remains 3-2. Lights are on here tonight as this game had a 7:30 start. 2 on, 2 out. 3-2 count on the number 5 hitter in the lineup for the Eagle Pass Eagles, and that's Homer Flores. Eric Gutierrez ready to go, trying to get him out of here. Looks in for the sign, gets it, and works it home. Check swing, and he went around for strike 3. Home plate umpire punches him out. First strikeout of the game for Gutierrez. He works out of the inning. In the inning, no runs, no hits, a walk, an error, 2 left. We played 1. After 1, it's the Sharyland Rattlers on top of the Eagle Pass Eagles. 1-0 as high school sports continues here on 956sports.com. Welcome back here as we continue on with high school sports here on 956sports.com. Joe Bowling with you, coming to you from Laredo, Texas. DeMarcus Clark at my right side, manning now the computer and the camera. Leslie taking a break, if you will. Here we are in the second inning, top side of inning number 2 for the Sharyland Rattlers. Alex Venegas stands in and takes strike 1 from Dylan Elgazaval. Elgazaval labored through the first inning, giving up the 1 run, which is a home run off the bat of George Maldonado, which is the only run of this ball game. Venegas ready for the next one. Here it is, outside and low for a ball, evens a count of 1-1. Venegas followed by Vela and then Garza. Anybody gets on, back to the top of the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers, and Pancho Martinez will hit. Elgazaval is 1-1 and brings the next one home to Venegas. Takes it up a little bit, and it's ball 2. We thank you again for joining us. Pass the word around to family, friends, and fans alike that this one's coming your way live from Laredo. Here's the 2-1 pitch, outside and low, and it's a 3-1 count now on Venegas, leading it off. In the first inning, the Rattlers scored the 1 run. They had 3 hits in the inning, stranded 2. And here we are in the second inning. Venegas trying to get on to lead it off. He's ahead in the count. Now, they've shown the ability to go with a green light on this type of a count, and he's taking all the way in this one. It's a 3-2 count. Pumping in a strike was Elgazaval. Takes the count to 3-2. Elgazaval ready, gets the sign from Diego Gaona and brings it home. Swing and a foul ball back to the screen. We'll do it again. Again, we were talking about the streaming audio and video coming your way here live. You can also watch these on archive as almost immediately after the conclusion of this game, you can go back and watch it. So if you missed the Maldonado home run, as soon as the game's over, go back. First inning, second hitter, about the third pitch. Here's a 3-2 pitch, swinging a fly ball into right field. Cerna over there, and Philip Cerna will put it away for the out. Venegas flies out, and the pattern continues for the Sharyland Rattlers. Of the 4 outs recorded in this ball game, all 4 have been fly ball variety in the outfield. Philip Cerna, who hauled that one in, has a couple of putouts. And over in center field, Devin Torres for the Eagle Pass Eagles has hauled in the other 2 fly ball outs. Mario Vela steps in, right-handed hitter. First pitch coming to him. Outside for a ball. 1-0 on Vela. Elgazaval on the mound, hasn't struck out anybody, hasn't walked any as of yet. Has allowed the 1 run on 3 hits. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a foul ball back to the screen. Evens a count of 1-1. Vela, followed by Eddie Garza. And again, anybody gets on here in the inning, Martinez will hit for the Sharyland Rattlers. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody on, 1 out. Top of the second inning, next pitch coming. Breaking ball, strike as he swung through it. Taking a bunch off of that pitch was Elgazaval. Had Vela out in front. Couldn't connect. It's a 1-2 count. And Elgazaval looks for his first strikeout of the night. Gets it as he breaks off another, and Vela swings through it. 2 up, 2 down here in the second inning for the Sharyland Rattlers, and it brings in Eddie Garza. Now, again, I talked with one of the announcers for a radio station here that's covering this game locally, who gave me a bit of a rundown on this Elgazaval. Said he's a young hurler, probably the number 3 pitcher on their depth chart, but if he gets in a groove, he can be real good. Well, he carved up Vela. Now he works on Eddie Garza, trying to make a quick inning here in this second inning and get his team back to the plate, trailing by just the 1 run. A bunt attempt, but a good one down the third base line, and see you later. He's easily in there. Throw comes across. It's wild, and it gets away, but a nice job backing up the play by Cerna. And Garza is aboard with an infield single on a perfectly executed bunt down the third base line. Garza aboard with the 4th hit of the night for the Sharyland Rattlers, and it brings in Pancho Martinez. Martinez flied out in the first inning as he hit the ball to right field on a 3-2 pitch. He'll hit here in the second as Garza is aboard with the single. He takes a short lead at first, held on by Danny Flores, the first baseman for Eagle Pass. From the stretch, Elgazaval brings it home, swinging a fly ball into center field. Over is Torres. It hangs, and he reaches up and puts it away. Another fly ball out off a bat of a Sharyland Rattlers. In the second inning, it's a pretty quick one. No runs, one hit, one left. We played an inning and a half. Heading to the bottom of the second, Sharyland Rattlers lead the Eagle Pass Eagles 1-0. This is High School Sports. I'm Joe Bowling with you on 956sports.com. Welcome back here to our live broadcast here on 956sports.com. And Leslie comes through with a little water here as we start the second inning to the tunes of Wipeout. Between the innings for the fans here, the Sharyland Rattlers back to the field, and the Eagle Pass Eagles will go to work here in the second inning. They'll send in Diego Gaona, Javi Cardona, and R.J. Ruiz. Anybody gets on Philip Cerna will hit. Gaona trying to get it started, steps in from the right-hand side against Eric Gutierrez, and the first pitch is lobbed in there. His time was called just before the delivery. A lot of teams will try to use that timeout to disrupt a pitcher, and that's perfectly executed right there when you can catch one in the middle of the delivery. Quickly, Gutierrez brings the next one, and it's skied high into right field. Coming over is Walter Main. Plenty of time, reaches up, one pitch, one out in the inning as Gaona's retired. It brings in Javi Cardona. Gutierrez allowed a walk as he led off the leadoff man in the first inning. And then a man reached on an error. Worked around that jam. And now has retired 3 in a row after that fly ball out by Gaona. And here's Javi Cardona. Cardona, right-handed hitter, playing left field tonight for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Hits for the first time against Gutierrez. First pitch coming. Low for a ball, 1-0. Again, this scout with this radar gun. I'm going to try to get you a couple of numbers as far as how pitched. That was a 79-mile-an-hour pitch there. And it also gets his catcher out from behind the plate, Luis Trevino, to talk things over. Not the first time that's happened here in this ball game. Pitcher and catcher trying to get on the same page. 1-0 the count on Cardona. A fly ball off the bat of Gaona led it off. One down, nobody aboard as Cardona stands in from the right side. 1 ball, no strikes. Looking in for the sign, Gutierrez. Long look, and time is called. And again, that's an indication that pitcher and catcher are having some difficulties here. To try to assist that, Trevino goes down and slaps his hand into the dirt, gets some chalk on his fingers, so hopefully that helps his pitcher see the calls made, and quickly a strike is fired in there by Gutierrez. Evens the count at 1-1 on Cardona, trying to get on board here in the second inning for the Eagle Pass Eagles. They trail 1-0. We're in the bottom of the second. Next pitch coming to Cardona. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 2. Gutierrez has struck out 1 thus far in the ball game. He's allowed the walk. And he's ahead 1-2 on Cardona. Ruiz stands on deck. Cardona trying to get on. A pitch in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, now 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cardona. Gutierrez already ready to bring the next one home. Cordona had stepped out. He gets back in. Gutierrez ready to go. In the motion, brings the 2-2 home. Strike 3 called. See you later as Cordona took one right down the middle. He's gone. 4 in a row now retired by Gutierrez as the first 2 are gone here in the second. And it brings in R.J. Ruiz. Ruiz, the second baseman, hits in the 8th spot tonight for the Eagle Pass Eagles. And Gutierrez trying to make quick work of the Eagles here in this second inning. He's retired the first 2. He's retired 4 in a row as he works on Ruiz. And he brings it home in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Looking ahead to the third inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. They'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters scheduled to come up. They lead 1-0. Ruiz at the plate. Nobody on. 2 out. The 1-0 pitch. Took it. Missed. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes on Ruiz. Philip Cerna on deck. Ruiz will have to solve Gutierrez for Cerna to hit here in the second. He's ahead 2-0 in the count. Steps in. Waits. Next pitch coming. Away for ball 3. 3-0 now on Ruiz. In the top of this second, El Gazaval, the pitcher for Eagle Pass, made quick work of the first 2, then allowed a single and then a fly ball out. Gutierrez brings a 3-0 home. Strike called on the outside corner. 3-1 now on Ruiz. And we'll see if Ruiz is taking here. 3-1. He's the number 8 hitter in the lineup for the Eagle Pass Eagles. 3 balls, 1 strike to count, and the pitch. Called time, stepped out. They didn't allow time, and he takes ball 4. Second walk of the ball game issued by Gutierrez, and that time, even though time wasn't called, Ruiz was able to get in the head of Gutierrez. Ruiz had called time. He had actually stepped out of the box. The umpire didn't give him the time. But again, sometimes a pitcher in the motion of bringing that pitch home will see that guy step out and will automatically let up a little bit, and that's what happened there to Gutierrez. And now Cerna will hit, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Eagles. 1 on, 2 out. Pitch coming in. Outside for a ball, 1-0. Eagle Pass had runners at second and third in the first inning, stranded both of them. They've got a base runner here in the second. Trying to make Gutierrez work. They hold the runner at first. That's Ruiz with a short lead, a throw over to first. He's back easily. Joey Escoval, the first baseman for the Sharyland Rattlers. With him holding the runner on, Pancho Martinez a step or 2 over in that second base spot, but there's still a hole between first and second, and a strike is fired in there to Philip Cerna. If Cerna could go opposite field, he's got a hole to work with there between the first and second baseman. And the top of the lineup just behind him for the Eagle Pass Eagles. So they're trying to come up with a 2-out rally here. Down 1-0. 1-1 the count. Next pitch coming. Instead another throw to first, and standing up back easily is Ruiz. One ball, 1 strike. 1 on, 2 out. Second inning action. Sharyland Rattlers lead. It was a George Maldonado home run in the first inning. That is our only run of the game. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a shot. Base hit. Right field. Nicely done this time by Cerna. Right fielder picks it up, fires it back in, and Ruiz stops at second. That's the spot I was talking about between the first and second baseman, and Cerna perfectly smashes that one through for a hit. 2-out rally by the Eagle Pass Eagles. 2 aboard, and here comes Eric Gonzalez, the leadoff hitter. Gonzalez worked a walk in the first inning. And now after the first 2 are retired, the next 2 have reached for Eagle Pass here in this second inning. Gonzalez at the plate. That hit by Cerna is the first hit of the ball game for this Eagle Pass Eagle team. Gutierrez will work from the stretch. Brings it home, and Gonzalez took it. Breaking ball stays high for ball one. 1-0, and again, you could see Trevino was not on the same page as Gutierrez. He was not expecting that pitch. 1-0 the count. Gutierrez looks in for the sign. Gonzalez at the plate. A lead by Ruiz down at second. Cerna takes a lead off first, and time is called at the plate by Gonzalez. Bottom of the second inning. 2 on, 2 out. Gonzalez waits. Here it is. Fouls it back. Evens the count of 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Normally you see a guy foul one straight back to the screen like that. He's, quote, missed his pitch. It's early in the pitch count, though. It's 1-1. As he hits here in this second. Already Eagle Pass is stranded 2. There's 2 aboard here with 2 out in the second. Tying run down at second base. Gutierrez working from the stretch. Looks in for the sign. Still looking from his catcher Trevino. Gets the one he wants. Checks the runners. Brings it home. Swing and another foul ball off to the left side. Out of play. Off the bat of Eric Gonzalez, and the count goes to 1-2. Gutierrez has struck out 2. He's walked 2. He's allowed the 1 hit. He's also had to work around a first inning error, in which he was part of that. 1-2 the count as he works on Gonzalez, trying to put him away and in this second inning, keeping it a 1-run game in which his team leads. 1-2 from the stretch. Checks and brings it. Gonzalez grounds it softly to second. Second baseman charges, gets it, fires it over, and gets his man. 4-3 on the put out as Martinez to Escobar is the tandem there at second and first for the Sharyland Rattlers. In the inning for Eagle Pass, no runs, a hit, a walk, 2 left. They've stranded 4 in the ball game. We've played 2, and after 2, Sharyland leads this one 1-0. Live video and audio coming your way. This is 956sports.com. Welcome back here as the fans are dancing in the stands between the innings. I'm Joe Bowling with you. Welcome to the third inning here as the Sharyland Rattlers will hit, leading in this ball game against the Eagle Pass Eagles in a 1-0 game and first game of a best 2 of 3 series between these two. In playoff action here in the state of Texas. Friday night action, game started at 7:30. Welcome aboard if you're just joining us. And the reason why this game has 1 run on the scoreboard is the man standing at the plate, leading it off here in the third for the Sharyland Rattlers, and that's George Maldonado. He crushed a home run over the left field wall. Takes strike 1, and we're underway here in the third. Maldonado waits for the next one. Here it is. Swinging a foul ball off to the right side, and quickly it's an 0-2 count. Dylan Elgazaval on the mound for the Eagle Pass Eagles. He allowed 3 hits in the first inning, one of those the Maldonado home run. Allowed a 2-out single in the second and works here in the third. Maldonado swings, drives one foul down the left field line, and he was in front of that one but wasn't missing a chance at a good swing. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Maldonado stands in. Gutierrez on deck, Barrera, and then anybody gets on, Trevino will hit here in this 3rd inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. 0-2 pitch to Maldonado. Here it is. Outside. Lays off of it and takes ball 1. 1-2 on Maldonado. Next one coming to Maldonado. Took it in the dirt. Count goes to 2-2. In the 1st inning, El Gazaval used 20 pitches. In the 2nd, cut that in half to 10. He zipped in 5 pitches to Maldonado to start this 3rd inning, and so 35 pitches in the books already by the starting pitcher for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Maldonado with a 2-2 count. Steps in and waits. Here it comes. Swinging a shot down the left field line. Fair ball. That's in the corner. Maldonado an extra base hit as he heads for second base. Throw comes in. It's not in time. It's a stand-up double. 2nd hit of the ball game for Maldonado, and he drilled that one down the left field line. A leadoff double for Maldonado. Sharyland Rattlers. Little something going here in this 3rd. It brings in Eric Gutierrez. Gutierrez flied out to center field his first time up, 0 for 1 on the day. And he will hit now with a runner at 2nd. Gutierrez, number 3 hitter in the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers. They lead 1-0. That hit by Maldonado was their 5th of the ball game. It's Maldonado's 2nd. Gutierrez waits for the first one from El Gazaval. And here she comes. Misses outside for ball 1, 1-0. That didn't miss by much. But Gutierrez took it for ball 1. Barrera, who's got a single, stands on deck. Down at 2nd is Maldonado, led off the inning with a double. Takes a short lead off of 2nd. El Gazaval brings it home to Gutierrez, who takes it outside again. Quick throw to second base, and back in time is Maldonado. Count goes 2-0 now on Gutierrez, and it opens up more options for the Sharyland Rattlers as far as how they want to play this with a runner at second base. Gutierrez from the right side waves the bat across the plate, waits for the next pitch from El Gazaval, and here it is. Instead of throw to second base, and easily back in time is Maldonado, who now has the attention of El Gazaval, the pitcher, and the catcher, Diego Gaiona, who threw down there after that last pitch. 2-0 on Gutierrez. Maldonado started this 3rd with a double. Gutierrez waits. El Gazaval brings it. Taking a strike called is Gutierrez. 2 balls and a strike. Pass the word to family, friends, and fans. We are streaming this live, and I see the numbers continue to build here as our broadcast continues. Coming to you from Laredo on a Friday night. 2-1 the count. Next pitch coming to Gutierrez. Took it outside for ball 3. And of the 3 that have missed out of the strike zone, this at bat to Gutierrez, it's been a matter of inches as El Gazaval continues to try to work the outside part of the plate. Thus far, consistent on the umpire's call, as each of them have been at about the same location, and all have been called out of the strike zone for a ball. It's 3-1 on Gutierrez. See if he gets a green light here with a runner at second and nobody out. The pitch. Swing and a shot. Left field. Back goes the left fielder. Back, and gone. Gutierrez on a 3-1. Rips it over the left field wall. A 2-run shot, and it's 3-0 Sharyland as they empty the bench and await the arrival of the starting pitcher, Gutierrez, who hits the 2nd home run of the night for the Rattlers. That one was out of here in a hurry. On a 3-1 pitch, Eric Gutierrez touches them all. So Maldonado hit one in the 1st. Gutierrez drives one out here in the 3rd. Sharyland going long ball tonight against Eagle Pass, leads 3-0. And that brings in Trace Barrera. Javi Cordova, the left fielder, playing about as deep as you can get back there. Took one step, and that was over his head and over the fence. It got out of here that quick. Second home run of the ball game. Third extra base hit of the game for the Sharyland Rattlers. Second extra base hit here in the third. The first two reached and now have scored thanks to the home run by Gutierrez. And it brings in Trace Barrera. Barrera 1 for 1 on the day, a single in the first inning. That was a 2-out single. He bats here in the third, nobody on, nobody out. First pitch coming. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Looking back in that first inning after the Maldonado home run, El Gazaval came right back after the next hitter with a couple of strikes. Barrera waits, calls time, didn't get it, steps back in, swings, loops one into right field. That's going to be a diving catch made by the right fielder, Philip Cerna. A diving catch, all out. Cerna hauls it in for the out. Or do they call him safe? They say he trapped the ball. And now that's going to get the head coach out for the Eagle Pass Eagles, who isn't happy with that call made by the base umpire out there on that diving attempt by Philip Cerna. Barrera credited with a hit. You can see the second base umpire, if we can get the camera out there on him. He's talking to the second baseman, and he was showing an indication of how he did. He hit his hands together, which gave a hint that maybe that was a catch. What he was saying was that ball hit the ground. And that's what's got the discussion going on with the coach and home plate umpire. He's like, hey, the man made a call. He pounded his hands together like that was caught. Explanation over. Coach back to the dugout. Barrera at first base. First three have reached here for the Sharyland Rattlers in the third, and it brings in Luis Trevino. Trevino 1 for 1 on the day with a single. And Philip Cerna gave an all-out effort out there in right field for the Eagle Pass Eagles. First pitch in the dirt for ball 1 to Trevino. Joey Escoval on deck. Sharyland Rattlers have plated 2 here in the third. Lead 3-0 in the game. Runner at first base. Nobody out as Trevino stands in. Calls time. Is awarded time. And that's not been the case each time someone's asked for time at the home plate umpire, as he's doing his best to help these pitchers along, maintaining some sort of rhythm. 1-0 the count. Trevino back in. Here it comes. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second base. Pretty good one, and skips into center field. On his horse, but staying right there is Barrera. It'll be a stolen base, but a good throw would have had him there. Meanwhile, it was a swing and a miss for strike 2, or check that for strike 1 on Trevino. And now time is called, and they're going to send the runner back to first base. No, they're going to say he's out on an interference. Now they're going to, well, confusion being made now. Now they're going to allow him to stay at first base. The only way that could, well, there's two ways. Either the time was awarded, which I don't think was the case, or that was called a foul ball at the plate. And again, the Laredo coach comes out to talk things over with the home plate umpire, and this time he wants an explanation from the man that made the call. Last time he was satisfied, I guess you could say, appeased at least, by the home plate umpire on the call that was made in the field. Now they're going to call the batter out on interference. And if it sounds confusing here, you should hear the entire press box. We're all shaking our heads trying to figure out what's going on. I'll tell you what we do know. We know there's one out. And there's a runner on at first base for the Sharyland Rattlers as Trevino is called out for interference of some sort at the plate. How do you score that? I'm just going to write out. At the plate stands Escobar, and he's hit. Hit by a pitch. 2 on, 1 out. That's a trivia question I dare say I've never heard. How do you score that in a scorebook, and especially in a scorecard you're using numbers? I'm going to have to look that one up. It was interference, so I guess you just call it I-O. What's the official score call on that? B-I. 2 on, 1 out. Here in the third. Here's the pitch. Pulling back from an attempted bunt and taking ball 1 is Alex Venegas. This game about an hour old already as we're in the top of the third. Sharyland Rattlers on top 3-0. Venegas waits for the next one from Dylan El-Gazabal, and before that, time is called again. And if this game's an hour long as we're in the third, we're on pace for a long one here. Bunt attempt, he pulls it back and takes ball 2. 2-0 on Venegas. He's the 6th man to hit here in the inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. The first 3 reached. After a batter interference on Luis Trevino, Escobar was hit by a pitch. 2 on, 1 out. Venegas 0 for 1 on the day as he flied out to right field. Squares the bunt again. The 2-0, they throw back to second base, and back in time is Barrera. Eric Gonzalez, the shortstop back there for the Eagle Pass Eagles. 1 run in the first, 2 more here in the third. Sharyland up 3-0. Top of the third, 2-0 the count. Venegas squares the bunt again, pulls it back inside corner. The pitch is a strike, and it's a 2-1 count. Venegas showing bunt all the way here. He's the number 7 hitter in the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers. As he hits here in the third. Waits for the next one. Going to swing. Takes it outside, ball 3. 3-1 now on Venegas. Already in the inning, a double, a home run, a single, a hit batsman. Lots of base runners for the Sharyland Rattlers. Couple of runners have scored after a 2-run blast off the bat of Eric Gutierrez. 3-1 the count. Pitch to Venegas. Took it outside, ball 4. Bases loaded, Rattlers. And it brings in Mario Vela. No action in the bullpen for the Eagle Pass Eagles, and now they'll get somebody up. See if I can get you a name on that as number 19 starts to warm up in the bullpen for the Eagles. That's Eric Gonzalez, who's warming up. After the walk, loads the bases for the Sharyland Rattlers. Vela shows a bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. With the bases loaded, if that bunt attempt happens, Barrera down at third better get on his horse. He had a short lead. Working from the windup, or now from the stretches, Del Valle brings it in. Another shown bunt attempt, and this time ball 2 stays inside, and it's a 2-0 count. I'm thinking Vela is just showing bunt. I don't think that's the call that they want him to put the ball in play. They're just seeing if they can get, in this case, El-Gazabal to miss out of the strike zone, and he has with the first 2. 2-0 the count. Bases loaded, Sharyland here in the third, and they have a chance to break this one open. Vela at the plate. Strikeout victim, 0 for 1 in the first at bat. Takes ball 3 inside, and he becomes a very dangerous hitter now. 3-0 to Vela. Barrera down at third. He reached on a single. Escobar was hit with a pitch. He's at second. Venegas walked. He's at first. Bases full of Rattlers. Vela at the plate. Shows the bunt on a 3-0 pitch. Takes it in there for a strike call, 3-1. Vela hasn't swung the bat yet. We're in the third. Here's the pitch. Inside, and it hit him. Another hit batsman. This one drives in a run, and it's 4-0 Rattlers. So the last three that have reached now for the Sharyland Rattlers have done so with a hit batsman, a walk, and a hit batsman. Base is still loaded, and here's Eddie Garza. Garza, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers, already 1 for 1 on the day. He's the 8th man to hit in the inning for the Rattlers. And time is called as a conference on the mound around Dylan Elgazaval. And this meeting is just to allow the new pitcher a chance to get a couple extra warm-ups, and they will make a pitching change. They'll bring in Gonzalez. And as he takes his warm-ups, I'll step aside. Again, you're watching live video and audio coverage coming your way from Laredo, Texas, where the Sharyland Rattlers lead this one 4-0. Bases loaded, 3rd inning, 1 out. Be back in a minute. Thanks again for joining us here on 956sports.com. A pitching change by the Eagle Pass Eagles, and Marcos Segura comes in, and he'll be the new pitcher, and he'll inherit one heck of a jam. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the third. Sharyland Rattlers up 4-0. Eddie Garza steps to the plate with the bases full. Squares the bunt, pulls it back, takes strike 1. Garza, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers. 1 for 1 on the day with a single. That was back in the second. Bats here in the third. Again, the 8th hitter to hit here in the inning for the Rattlers, who could break it open here. The 0-1. Outside. Ball 1, 1-1. Segura in relief for Dylan Elgazaval, who started it off for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Eddie Garza for the Sharyland Rattlers stands in, bases loaded. The 1-1 pitch. Took it a little high, ball 2. The inning, a double by Maldonado to start it for the Rattlers. A home run by Gutierrez drove in 2. A single by Barrera, who later came in to score. Next pitch, inside corner, strike 2 to Garza. Escobar reached on a hit batsman. Venegas was walked. Vela was hit by a pitch that drove in a run. Garza at the plate, 2-2 the count. Waits for the next one from Segura. Here it is, swing, and a foul ball right at his feet, keeps him alive. 2-2. Rattlers have out-hit the Eagles to the tune of 7-1. Have outscored them 4-0. Garza again, big opportunity here to break this one wide open. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch coming. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Segura with a big strikeout there in relief. Retires Garza, and now he'll take on Martinez. Martinez, the leadoff hitter for the Rattlers, bats with the bases full. From a momentum perspective, the Eagles, who have already given up 3 runs this inning, could at least ride that wave of getting out of a bases-loaded jam with 1 out and no further damage done. Martinez would like to tack on a few more, and he takes strike 1. Segura painted the outside corner. Maldonado stands on deck. He started the inning off with his second hit of the game, which was a leadoff stand-up double. Martinez bats, bases loaded, 2 outs, the 0-1. Swing and a ground ball, softly hit down the third base line. They'll let it roll. Foul. Just foul, as Martinez would have beat that out easily. The only thing that the Eagles could do with that was let it roll foul. Unfortunately for them, it took a kind roll. Bases remain loaded. The count now 0-2 on Martinez, and Segura is now within a strike of coming in relief and getting out of a big jam. Bases loaded, Rattlers. 2 outs. Segura ready. Brings the next one home to Martinez. Takes it in the dirt. A great play made by Gaona, the catcher. Throws down to third base, and that one skips away, but everybody stays put. Again, that's a stat that most scorekeepers won't keep, but Gaona just saved a run on blocking that pitch that would have easily skipped back and scored a run for the Rattlers. Bases remain loaded. 1-2 the count now on Martinez. Maldonado stands on deck. Martinez waits. Here's the pitch from Segura. Takes it in the dirt. Another good play made by Gaona. That one short hopped him as it got just near the plate. And again, that as a catcher, when you see a ball coming that's going to hit the dirt, it's one thing. When you know it's going to hit right near the plate, that thing can take some crazy hops off of the rubber and where the rubber meets the dirt. It's a 2-2 count. The next pitch coming. Martinez swings, hits it hard, off the first baseman, into foul territory. A race for the bag, safe, run scores, throw down to third base. Everybody's safe there. It's an infield single by Martinez. It's a 5-0 ball game, and the Rattlers' third continues. A hard smash off of first baseman Danny Flores. Martinez running quickly out of the box, gets down the first baseline and beats it out. Drives in a run. And now the inning continues, and here's the hottest man of the game, and that's George Maldonado. Already George 2 for 2 on the day with a home run in the first and a double here in the third, and he bats. Takes one low, ball 1. Segura came in relief, struck out Garza. Allows the single by Martinez. Continues to work from the stretch with the bases loaded as he takes on Maldonado for a first time today. The 1-0. Low, ball 2. Gutierrez, who has a home run, stands on deck. Maldonado, who was all over pitches by Dylan Elgazoval, is ahead in the count 2-0 as he faces Segura. Left fielder playing about as deep as you can get. That's Cordona. The pitch coming. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Maldonado taking all the way. Segura got one in there. 2 balls and a strike. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Top of the third. Rattlers with a 4 spot this inning lead the game 5-0. The 2-1 pitch headed home to Maldonado. Low in the dirt. Ball 3-1. And here's where you light the fireworks. If you're a Sharyland Rattler fan and Maldonado gets a pitch somewhere that he can unload on. He's ahead 3-1 in the count. Segura has to bring him one to hit. Here's the 3-1. Strike called in the outside corner. A dandy pitch by Segura. He didn't just lay it in there. He painted the outside corner. Count goes full at 3-2 on Maldonado. Down at third base is Venegas. Down at second base is Vela. At first is Martinez for the Sharyland Rattlers. Maldonado at the plate. 3-2 the count. He waits for the next one from Marcos Segura. And here it comes. Instead of throw to first. Back in time is Martinez. Danny Flores, the first baseman, on his toes there for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Segura, the right-handed pitcher. Maldonado bats from the right side. 3-2. They play him to pull the left field. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Low in the dirt, ball 4, and a run will score. Maldonado drives in his second with a walk. It's now 6-0 Sharyland, and the inning continues. And it brings in Eric Gutierrez. Gutierrez rifled one out of here, his first time up in the third. Bats for a second time here in the third. And a third time here in the ball game. He's 1 for 2 on the day with 2 RBIs and the home run. He'll face Segura for a first time. When we finally get to the bottom of the third inning, it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Gutierrez waits, takes one, low ball 1. 1-0 from Segura to Gutierrez. Gutierrez, the pitcher tonight for the Rattlers. Waits the 1-0 in the dirt. Outside, ball 2. On deck stands Trace Barrera, who's been on base twice with a couple of hits. He's got 2 hits. Maldonado with a couple of hits has also been on base with this walk, so he's reached 3 times. Every hitter in the lineup has been on base already for the Sharyland Rattlers. Gutierrez waits. Here it is. Swing, and a fly ball foul down the left field side, and it's going to be foul. That had home run distance, but it was pulled foul off the bat of Gutierrez. Again, as I was saying before that pitch, you go down the lineup. Martinez with a single has been on. Maldonado, I've talked about that. 3 for 3 is on base. Gutierrez with a home run reached. Barrera a couple of hits. Trevino a hit. Escobar was hit with a pitch. Venegas a walk. Vela a hit batsman. And Garza a single. So 9 hitters, all have reached at least once here in this ball game as ball 3 sails outside to Gutierrez. 3-1. The only one that was near the strike zone. He lifted, foul, but home run distance out of this park. He's ahead 3-1 with the bases loaded. Gutierrez waits for the next one. Here it comes. Swing and a hard hit ball into right center field. It's going to plug the gap and clear the bases. Gutierrez on his horse drifts into second base. They do hold one runner up at third. It's an RBI double, drives in 2, and it's an 8-0 ball game. Gutierrez's second hit of the inning. They held up Maldonado down at third base. But an RBI double, and it's 8-0 Sharyland, and here comes Trace Barrera. 4 RBIs now by Gutierrez. And before Trace Barrera hits, conference on the mound for the Eagle Pass Eagles, and there's going to be a pitching change. As they change the pitcher, I'll take a break and step aside. Video continues. You're watching and listening to live coverage here from Laredo, Texas. Sharyland Rattlers leading in the game 8-0 over the Eagle Pass Eagles. I'm Joe Bowling with you on 956sports.com. We continue with live coverage here on a Friday night from Laredo as the Sharyland Rattlers on top here in this game one of a best-of-3 series between the Eagle Pass Eagles and the Sharyland Rattlers. New pitcher in the game, Chris Perez for the Eagles, and he'll try to put the end to this third inning, which the top of the third has been all Sharyland, and the first pitch hits Tres Barrera. And it loads the bases again. The winner of this ball game, or this series, I should say, will take on either Carroll or Johnson in the regional semifinal game, which will be scheduled next weekend, most likely in San Antonio. In other action involving a Rio Grande Valley team and a team just out of the Laredo area here, PSJA leads 1-0 in that game against Alexander. Here's the pitch coming in, swinging a shot into right center field. That's a hit off the bat of Trevino. 1 run will score. Here comes another run. It's a 10-0 lead for the Sharyland Rattlers on an RBI single by Trevino. 2 RBIs, 2 runs aboard, 10-0 your score. And it's a 9-run third inning for the Rattlers, and it continues. Maldonado scored. Gutierrez scored. Barrera got the third. And the third inning continues here for the Sharyland Rattlers. And the 12th man to hit in the inning steps in, and that's Joey Escobar. 10-0 Rattlers, third inning action. Again, the winner of this takes on the winner of, most likely, it will be that Corpus Christi Carroll team, the Carroll Tigers. Pitch misses, ball 1 to Escobar. PSJA again leading in their game 1-0. That's early. In the second inning, that's the last score we had on that. It will not be the winner of that taking on the winner of this. Although there are some coaches that would like that. Here's a swing and a ground ball. Third baseman makes a nice play, throws to second, forces applied, and the inning comes to an end. Nice play over there by third baseman Tino Del Bos. The inning comes to an end for the Sharyland Rattlers. In the inning, they score 9 runs. They do so on 6 hits. A home run by Gutierrez, who also had a 2 RBI double in the inning. 9 runs aboard. After 2.5, we head to the bottom of the third. Sharyland leads this one 10-0. Coverage of the Eagle Pass Eagles and the Rattlers of Sharyland. It's a regional quarterfinal. It's right here on 956sports.com. Thanks again for joining us here on 956sports.com. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Joe Bowling with you. DeMarcus Clark to my right with the tremendous camera work. In the press box at United ISD's baseball field in Laredo. The Sharyland Rattlers explode for 9 runs in the top of the third and have broke this one open. Lead 10-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Devin Torres stands in, leading it off, followed by Tino Del Bosque and Danny Flores. Anybody gets on, Homer Flores hits. And before the first pitch, time was called by Devin Torres. Torres sacrificed his first time up on a bunt, takes a strike. Away we go here in the bottom of the third. Tomorrow afternoon, these two teams right back at it. 4 o'clock scheduled first pitch. We'll be back with you on that one. And right now, it appears as though the Sharyland Rattlers will be up in the series. And there's a shot that's a base hit into right field off the bat of Torres. Leadoff single for the Eagles. Second hit of the ball game for Eagle Pass. Second time of the 3 innings played that they've got the leadoff man aboard, and it brings in Tino Del Bosque. Del Bosque reached on an error, a unique error in the first inning on a high pop fly ball about 10 feet up the line on the first base side and about 5 feet foul or fair territory. Throw to first base, back in time is Torres. 4 o'clock scheduled start. What time will we leave the Valley? That depends on our trip home. We're taking another route. That'll gauge what time we leave the Valley. Here's the pitch. In the dirt for a ball. 1-0 to Del Bosque. Flores on deck. Eagle Pass trailing by a 10 spot as we're in the bottom of this third. Nobody on, 1 out. Pitch coming. Del Bosque swings, grounds it back to the mound. Throw to second base. Out there, over to first. Safe. They almost turned a double play. Torres erased on the fielder's choice. Del Bosque will reach. And Gutierrez nearly turned a double play on a ball hit up the middle. Sharyland's coach came all the way out behind second base to talk to that base umpire, saying there should have been interference. He wanted that double play. Up 10-0 in the third. 1 on, 1 out. Danny Flores will step in. 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded back to the mound his first time up back in the first inning. In that inning, Eagle Pass had 2 on and 1 out. Had runners at second and third. Couldn't get a run across. Then it was a 1-0 game. Here's a pitch outside for ball 1 to Flores. Gutierrez on the mound through the 3 innings has allowed 2 hits. He struck out 2, and he's walked 2. He's working on Flores. Comes set, checks the runner at first, brings it home. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Flores swinging away. Couldn't connect. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. A short lead at first by Del Bosque. Pitch coming home. Swinging a pop-up, foul ball, right side out of play. Off the metal roof above the area covered behind the home plate area. And it's a 1-2 count. Trying to figure out where I parked. I can't even remember. We were in such a hurry. I just threw the car in park and we jumped out and unloaded equipment in a hurry. Decoyed, thinking we were here for a 7 o'clock game. Breathed real easy once we got here and saw. Here's a shot. Third baseman knocks it down, picks it up, goes to second there, and the return throw is going to be out at first base. They'll call interference as the throw hit the runner, Del Bosque, and the umpire is going to say he interfered. 5-4-3, a double play ends the inning for Eagle Pass. In the inning, no runs, a hit, nobody left. We played 3, and after 3, Sharyland up by a 10 spot. 10-0 your score. Regional quarterfinal action continues after this on 956sports.com. Who says you can't have fun in a 10-run ball game? As the Laredo fans behind the home plate area having some fun in between innings. And we head to the fourth. I'm Joe Bowling with you. Thanks again for joining us here on 956sports.com as the Eagle Pass Eagles taking on the Sharyland Rattlers. 10-0 as the Sharyland Rattlers scored a run in the first inning, 9 more in the third, and lead 10-0. Now we'll get the fans. They'll turn around and give us a big hello to the world as we stream this game live with live streaming video and audio coverage. And that's what I said off the break. I was like, you give them a chance, you'll get a real show if you tell them they're on. And now we'll watch the excitement. Meanwhile, on the field, the Sharyland Rattlers will go to work here in the fourth. You see, after about 20-plus years in broadcasting, you start recognizing when a game is 10-0 on things you might want to talk about outside the diamond. In this case, a group of students with a drum makes perfect scenario if you light the fuse. Consider it done. At the plate, Alex Venegas scheduled to hit, Mario Vela, and then Eddie Garza, 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup for the Rattlers of Sharyland. Venegas has been on base once, walked, that was in the third inning, came around to score a run. 0 for 1 on the day as he flied out to right field his first at bat. Bats here in the fourth, leading it off. 0-1 in there for a strike call. The pitcher is Chris Perez. Perez came in relief. The starter was Dylan Elgazaval. Marcus Segura pitched. Eric Gonzalez threw. Chris Perez on the mound. Venegas at the plate. 0-2 pitch. Headed home. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's the way the fourth begins for the Sharyland Rattlers, and it brings in Mario Vela. Top of the fourth. Vela was hit by a pitch, scored a run in the third. That hit batsman actually drove in a run, so he's got an RBI. He's 0 for 1 officially in the at-bat column as a strikeout victim in the second inning. Bats here in the fourth. Pitch coming in. Inside for ball one. 10 runs, 10 hits for the Sharyland Rattlers. No runs, 2 hits for Eagle Pass. Vela waits for the 1-0. Here it is. Takes it for a strike, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on, 1 out, 4th inning action. Regional quarterfinal game between the Sharyland Rattlers and the Eagle Pass Eagles. 10-0 game. Vela waits, calls time. Vela waits. Ready to go. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Perez. Swing and a foul ball back to the screen. 1-2. Friday night in Laredo. Beautiful facility here for a ball game. This again a best 2 of 3 series. Sharyland Rattlers taking on the Eagle Pass Eagles. Vela waits for the 1-2. Perez struck out Venegas. Spins it home. Swinging a hard hit ball into left field. It's going to hang up. Cardona comes in, dives, and he can't come up with it. Down to second base is going to be Vela. Diving attempt by Cardona. Vela with a double. 1 out here in the 4th inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. And it brings in Eddie Garza. Ball hung up for Cardona, who was playing rather deep for a number 8 hitter. Diving attempt there, just came up short on the catch. Garza steps in. Garza 1 for 2 on the night. First pitch coming. Bunt attempt, missed. Now they've got the runner hung up. They throw to second base, though, and he's down to third. So Vela steals third base. Yeah, strike called on the pitch to Garza, who waved at the bunt attempt. And Vela ends up at third. 0-1 the count on Garza. Number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Sharyland Rattlers. We've had base runners in every inning. He calls time. Pancho Martinez scheduled to hit on deck for the Sharyland Rattlers. You wonder, up 10-0 with another game scheduled at 4 o'clock, how long they'll go before they start substituting in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Inside for a ball. Evens it up at 1-1 to Garza. Garza 1 for 2 on the day. Chance to drive in a run here in the fourth. Swings and flies it down the left field line. That slice is foul. One and two. Perez struck out Venegas to start the inning. Vela reached him for a double. Stole third. He's there. Garza at the plate. 1-2 the count. Chris Perez from the stretch, the righty. Gets the sign from Diego Gaiona and brings it home. Swing and a ground ball foul down the right side. Garza remains alive at the plate and will do it again. That double by Vela is the third double of the game for the Sharyland Rattlers. And the 5th extra base hit of the night. 2 home runs, 3 doubles. Garza ready, waits for the 1-2 pitch. And here it is. Swing and a little looper out behind short. That's trouble. Left fielder comes in and nobody going to get there. It drops in. Run comes home to score. Now down to second on the throw is going to be Garza. And it's an 11-0 game. Garza looped it into the Bermuda Triangle between short, center, and left as all converged on the little fly ball. It's an RBI for Garza. As Vela scored, he had to wait for the ball to hit. Came in to score, makes it 11-0, and it brings in Pancho Martinez. Martinez is 1 for 3 on the day. Couple of fly balls in the first and second inning. Batted in the third, singled and drove in a run, came around to score. Bats here in the fourth. Runner at second base and 1 out. Takes a ball. 1-0. George Maldonado's on deck. He's been a busy man. On base 3 times and 3 at-bats. He's not the only guy to do that tonight for Sharyland. Next pitch to Martinez. Took it, missed ball 2. Tres Barrera's been on 3 times as well for the Sharyland Rattlers. Most hitters have been on base at least twice now for the Sharyland Rattlers. All 9 hitters have been on base at least once. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a shot, 1 hop. Second baseman gets it, throws to first. Out there, runner down to third. 4-3 on the putout. Ruiz to Flores. Martinez retired, and it brings in George Maldonado. And we'll see what they do with Mr. Maldonado. What's he done tonight? Homered in the first. Doubled in the third. Walked and scored also in the third. And now they pull him back, and they're going to have. How's Martinez hitting? Pitch is low in the dirt for a ball. And I'm baffled here as what's going on. And I, along with the other radio announcer and the official scorekeeper and the other scorekeeper, are all shaking our heads as to how Pancho Martinez is still at the plate. He just got hit with a pitch. And it brings in Maldonado. And again, I'm kind of baffled here in the press box, which I'm not saying that can't happen. It has once or twice in a long broadcasting career. But when I'm looking down to my left and I see official scorekeeper and another radio station trying to explain how Maldonado is stepping to the plate now, there's still 2 outs posted on the scoreboard and runners at first and third for Sharyland. Maldonado waits. Takes it outside for a ball. 1-0. We'll check in between innings, and I'm going to be as curious as at least a couple other guys are going to be as how we explain this. 1-0 the count. Pitch coming, and that's a strike. Now, the only thing that I can think would be that if time was called before that ground ball by Martinez, which was recorded as a ground ball out, 4-3. Here's the pitch coming, up high for a ball. So unless they pulled Martinez back, Maldonado at the plate. 2-1 is the count. 2 on. Should be 2 outs. That put a question mark around as well. Here's the 2-1. Inside for a ball to Maldonado. There's no coaches that are questioning it at all, what's going on from the dugouts. It's just the entire press box area that's trying to scratch their heads and figure out what's going on up here. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Maldonado swings and loops it. Softly hit to second base. Picked up there, throws to first, and safe at first base. Maldonado reaches. Garza scores. Martinez down to second base. E3 on that one. And it's 12-0. 2 runs across. The inning continues for the Sharyland Rattlers. They scored a run in the first, 9 in the third, 2 in the fourth. And here's Eric Gutierrez. The mystery continues up here. Here's the pitch. Strike called. What I'm curious to see is when an out is recorded, if that becomes the third out or the second out. If it becomes the second out, it explains a lot. It would mean that time was called before Martinez grounded out to second base. And that would be the only explanation I can come up with right now off the top of my head that allowed him to come back and hit. Here's the 0-1. High ball, 1-1. Now they call a balk on that, and the 2 runners will move up. So now we're getting in the category of what haven't you seen in a ball game. The list is getting short. Time is called. And the umpire just signaled that there's 1 out. So that's the only thing I can say is that time had to have been called before that ground ball out by Martinez.
So then he wasn't grounded out. So then it was 1 out. So Pancho Martinez was not a 4-3.
And as they converse on the pitcher's mound, the Eagle Pass coaching staff, that's what happened on Martinez. It wasn't time call. We got an explanation. It was a balk. A balk had been called when Martinez grounded what looked like the second out of the inning. Now we're all clear, fans. If you're just joining us, here's the important stuff. 12-0, 4th inning. top side of inning 4. Sharyland Rattlers with the lead. And runners at second and third and 1 out. And Eric Gutierrez is at the plate. Gutierrez is 2 for 3. He homered in the third and doubled in the third and drove in 4 runs in the inning. Bats here in the fourth. Swings, misses, strike 1, strike 2. So the line score for Gutierrez in the third inning is a hitter. 2 for 2, 2 runs scored, 4 RBIs. That's not a bad inning. Hits here in the fourth, could drive in a couple more. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball down the third baseline. That's a foul ball. And the count remains 0-2 on Gutierrez. Well, I don't feel so bad when I miss a balk call and I'm looking down and see 1, 2, 3, 4 other guys that are eyeballing the exact same ball game, watching the same stuff I am, and we're all scratching our heads at the same time. No balls, 2 strikes. Gutierrez at the plate, waits. Here it comes. Outside skips away, and a run's going to try to score. Coming in, no throw made, safe at the plate. It's a 13-0 game. Down to third base, Maldonado. Martinez scores. And Gutierrez remains at the plate. At PSJA game, they were leading 3-0. Is that a best-of-3 series there? I believe so. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a shot into left field. Base hit, run scores, RBI for Gutierrez, 14-0 Rattlers. Gutierrez drives in his 5th run of the game. And they got a pinch hitter coming in now for the Rattlers. Martin Trevino will be running for Gutierrez. And Trace Barrero will hit. So just a courtesy runner for Gutierrez, the pitcher for the Rattlers. Barrera stands in. On the day, he's been on base 3 times. Swings and hammers one foul down the left field side. 0-1. Barrera singled in the first. Singled again in the third. Stole a base, scored a run. Was hit by a pitch also in the third. 2 for 2 on the night. On base 3 times and bats here in the fourth. Runner at first, 1 out. And the pitch coming. In the dirt for a ball. Snap throw to first. Back in time. Count goes to 1-1. This is one of those games that you're going to call it a short game, but it'll still be a long game. Explain what that means here in a little bit. 1-1 the count on Barrera. Perez comes set, brings it home. Swing and a foul ball again on the left side. 1-2. A short but a long game definition. Short, we're on the way to getting a 5-inning special in which a 10-run lead at the end of 5 innings signifies end of the game. Long, we're bearing down on 2 hours and counting as we're in the top of the 4th inning. Barrera at the plate, the 1-2 pitch. Outside for a ball, another throw to first. Back in time, Sharyland runner. 2 balls, now 2 strikes on Barrera. Barrera waits for the next one. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a shot foul down the left field side. Hard hit ball off the bat of Barrera, but out in front of that Chris Perez pitch. No activity in either bullpen. 14 runs across in the game for the Sharyland Rattlers. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Barrera's been on base 3 times. Maldonado's been on base 4 times for the Rattlers. Gutierrez has been on 3 times. It's been base runner after base runner after base runner for the Sharyland Rattlers when they exploded in the 3rd inning of this game. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a shot into straightaway center field. And right there as Torres came in, backs up, reaches up, makes the catch. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Even Torres was fooled because he backpedaled and just kind of nonchalant jogged towards the infield when an infielder screamed at him, get the ball in. That's 2 outs. Brings in Luis Trevino. Trevino's been in on the fun for the Sharyland Rattlers tonight. Singled in the 1st. Was called out in the 3rd on a hitter's interference call. Singled, drove in 2 when he batted for a 2nd time in the 3rd. Hits here in the 4th. Takes the ball high, 1-0. 2 down, runner at first base for the Sharyland Rattlers. They've scored 4 more here in this 4th inning and lead 14-0. He's the 8th hitter to hit in this inning. They had 14 come to the plate in the 3rd. Here's a shot, base hit, left field line in the corner. Around 2nd, heading for 3rd. They'll bring the runner in, and he'll score. Down to 2nd base goes Trevino with an RBI double. He drives in his 3rd run of the game, and it's 15-0. Second double of the inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. 4th double of the ball game. And the Rattlers send a courtesy runner in, Lance Madden. Madden will run for Trevino. Escobar becomes the 9th man to hit. They went through the lineup for a 2nd inning in a row for the Sharyland Rattlers. Pitch coming. Escobar takes it inside for a strike. Joey on the night looking for his first hit. He flied out to center field in the 1st. In the 3rd inning, he batted twice. He was hit by a pitch, came around to score a run, and grounded out to 3rd to end the inning. Bats here in the 4th. 0-1 pitch. Outside for a ball. Evens the count 1-1. A run in the 1st with a home run by George Maldonado for Sharyland. They were held in check in the 2nd. Exploded in the 3rd for 9. Have scored 5 more here in the 4th and counting. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a hard hit ball. Foul ball down the left side. 1-2 on Escobar. Alex Vanegas on deck. Again, the crowd was small when we started this ball game. They filed in bigger numbers for the Eagle Pass side. Sharyland brought a few. A few more trickled in. Most have just kind of settled in now. Here in this 4th inning with a 15 spot on the scoreboard, all Sharyland with the runs. Escobar waits for the 1-2. Here it is. Swing and a fly ball in the right field. Right fielder giving chase, gets over there, and he reaches out and makes the catch. Escobar flies out to end the inning. In the inning for Sharyland. They score 5 times. They do so on 4 hits. They strand 1. We've played 3.5 to the bottom of the 4th. Rattlers rolling, leading in this one. Regional quarterfinals, 15-0. Back with more after this on 956sports.com. Welcome back here. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Eagle Pass. Down 15-0. Swinging at the first pitch. Ground ball the third. In the hole is Barrera. Gets it. Fires across. And Homer Flores is retired to start this fourth. Welcome again to the bottom of the fourth inning. All Sharyland as the Rattlers leading this one 15-0. I just had a note passed to me that I won't make the return trip here tomorrow night. I'm going to be in Pan Am, Texas Pan Am, for a ball game. As we'll take on the PSJA and Laredo Alexander game. Diego Guyana at the plate for Eagle Pass. 0 for 1 on the night. Flied out in the second inning to right field. Swings and fouls one away. Count evens at 1-1. Eric Gutierrez on the mound for the Rattlers. He started the game. He's working here in the fourth. He's scattered just 2 hits. Struck out a couple. And is ready to bring the next one home to Guyana. Instead, time is called. This is the first of a 3-game series. Best 2 out of 3 takes this and sends someone to the semifinals in the region. Rattlers of Sharyland in the driver's seat now, up 15-0 in this one. They've got their ace scheduled to throw tomorrow. Here's a pitch outside for a ball. Trace Barrera, most likely to be on the mound tomorrow for the Rattlers in that 4 o'clock game. And he has been lights out, tough this season. Here's a pitch outside for a ball and a walk to Guyana. Still trying to find out what time our scheduled broadcast is tomorrow. So we'll make a leisure drive home tonight, and it won't be a mad dash to get back over here tomorrow night, or afternoon, I should say. Either way, it'll be 100 degrees wherever we're at. Feel like it anyway. Beautiful facility here, which we're watching this one, press box. Air conditioned. Good stuff. From the stretch, Gutierrez brings it home. Swing and a miss. That's Javi Cardona. Cardona 0 for 1. Strikeout victim back in the second. Bats here in the fourth. Next pitch coming. Outside for a ball. The Eagles have had base runners in all 4 innings. Just haven't pushed anybody across. That walk issued by Gutierrez is his 3rd allowed today. One pitch. Instead, time is called. Got a score to pass along, except the screen went black. And it's gone again. Now I got it. San Antonio O'Connor, 15. Edinburgh, nothing. It ended in 5 innings. That's softball action. That's a lot of work to report a bad score like that if you're in the Edinburgh vicinity. 1 ball, 2 strikes, meanwhile, here on Javi Cardona. 1 on, 1 out in the 4th inning. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning of this regional quarterfinal game between the Sharyland Rattlers and Eagle Pass Eagles. The 1-2 pitch is in the dirt and away. Ball 2-2. R.J. Ruiz on deck for the Eagles. They've been out hit 14-2, been outscored 15-0. 2-2 pitch to Cardona. Swinging a ground ball to third. Across to second. 1. Back to first. Safe there. Guyana erased on the fielder's choice. 5-4 on the putout. And again, Trace Barrera down at third. Nearly turn to double play around the horn. They did so to end the third. This time the force play at second is the second out of the inning here in the fourth, and it brings in R.J. Ruiz. Ruiz walked his only at bat thus far in the game. That was back in the second inning. He'll bat here in the fourth with a runner at first. And 2 down. Pitch coming. Swing and a foul ball at the plate. Strike 1. In the fifth, it'll be 7, 8, and 9 scheduled to hit for the Sharyland Rattlers. Who will hit? Not sure. They started substituting towards the end of that fourth inning. So we will see what transpires with the Rattlers up 15-0 in a game scheduled tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Here's the 0-1. Check swing. Did he go around? No call. Runner breaks late and gets down to second base. One and one the count. On Ruiz. Philip Cerna on deck. What's happening in the NBA tonight? Let's check and see. It's 0-2, meanwhile, the count. Next pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Fastball, blew it by him, inning over. In the fourth, no runs, no hits, a walk, command left for Eagle Pass. We head to the fifth inning, top side, inning number 5. Sharyland Rattlers all over the Eagle Pass Eagles. 15-0, live streaming video and audio coming your way. I'm Joe Bowling with you on 956sports.com. Thanks again for joining us here on 956sports.com. DeMarcus Clark working. Normally I'd say working hard. He's with us. Joe Bowling, thanks again for joining us. Leslie, moral support from the word go here tonight. We got you covered, though, as we head to the fifth inning. Leadoff hitter is Alex Venegas for the Sharyland Rattlers. The 1-0 pitch is inside for ball 2. Venegas is 0 for 2 on the day. He walked in the third. Came around to score a run. Bats here in the fifth. 2-0 pitch. Took it inside and low, ball 3. Rattlers scored a run in the first off a home run. That was by George Maldonado, which right now has proved to be the game winner. They added 14 more with that. Lead 15-0. The 3-0 pitch is a swing and a ground ball off the pitcher's glove, and it's going to be beat out by Venegas for an infield hit. Venegas with a leadoff single for the Sharyland Rattlers. And that brings in Mario Vela. Vela on the night, struck out in the second inning, hit by a pitch and scored a run in the third. Doubled, stole a base, scored a run in the fourth. Bats here in the fifth. One on, nobody out after the leadoff infield single off the bat of Alex Venegas. Pitch coming outside, ball one. NBA action, 74-74, 5 minutes and some change left in the fourth quarter. Sixers and Celtics knotted up. Here's the 1-0, swing and a long fly ball down the left field line. Left fielder gives chase, that's a foul ball. Vela turned on that one. Pulled it foul. And meanwhile, the count goes 1-1. Now 2-1 on Vela. Vela. Batting here in the fifth. Waits for the next one. The 2-1. Swing and a shot over the second baseman into right field for a hit. R.J. Ruiz gave it a chance there at second base. Just out of his reach, and Vela aboard with a hit. First two have reached here in the fifth inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. Two more hits now gives them 16 in the ball game as a team. And it brings in Eddie Garza. There went my keys. Garza on the night, 2 for 3. Couple of singles. Also drove in a run. Grounds to short. They go to second for one. No safe there. Everybody's safe as they drop the ball. Bases loaded. Bases loaded. Nobody out for Sharyland. And now the top of the order comes up for the Rattlers. And here's Pancho Martinez. Martinez flied out to right field in the first, flied out to center field in the second, singled and drove in a run. Now a pitch gets away and everybody going to move up. Run scores. Runners down to second and third. 16-0. Bottom of the fourth, it's 4-1 PSJA leading in that one. Again, that's probably our broadcast game tomorrow. Will be game 2 of that one. Here in this one, it's 16-0 Rattlers. Martinez with runners at second and third. At the plate. Pitch gets away from the catcher again. This time they hold everybody up. Ball 2. Fifth inning, top side of inning number 5. Sharyland, the visitors on the scoreboard. Meaning Eagle Pass will get the hit in the bottom of this fifth. Here's the 2-0, and that hitting. So 2 in the dirt and 1 on the foot of Martinez. Bases loaded again for Sharyland. And here comes a pinch hitter. Rudy Gonzalez. Gonzalez will hit for George Maldonado. What did George do today? He batted 4 times. He reached 4 times. He scored 4 times. He homered, he doubled, and he drove in 2. Not a bad day's work for the number 2 hitter in the lineup. Gonzalez hits with the bases full. First pitch coming. Took it high, ball 1. And arguably, Maldonado is not the hitting star of this game. That would probably be the guy on deck, who's Eric Gutierrez. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Low ball 2. Again, Maldonado, the line score, 2 for 3 on the night with a home run and a double. He reached on an error and he walked. The 2 RBIs and 4 runs scored. Again, that's good numbers, outstanding numbers. A strike 1 is in there to Gonzalez. But behind him, Eric Gutierrez already has gone 3 for 4 on the night with 3 runs scored, a home run, a double, a single, and 5 RBIs. Ball 3 away to Gonzalez. So between Maldonado and Gutierrez, they scored 7 runs, had 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 7 RBIs. Here's the pitch coming. Strike called to Gonzalez. Gutierrez remains on deck with a bat in his hand. He's the pitcher, and he will most likely head back to the mound to try to finish what he started here tonight. Here's the pitch to Gonzalez. In the dirt. Ball 4, and he walks. Run pushed across. 17-0. Still nobody out for the Sharyland Rattlers here in the 5th. A single, an error, a walk, and a walk. Nobody out, and here comes Gutierrez. And this is where you say, what else can you do in a game? He shut out the opponents as the starting pitcher. And he's done everything at the plate and more. Takes ball 1, 1-0. And as each pitch misses out of the strike zone, if Gutierrez is given a green light, he becomes more and more dangerous. He can wait and lay into one. Here's the 1-0. Strike called, 1-1. Gutierrez taking all the way. Count even. Bases loaded here in the top of the 5th. Nobody out. Eric Gutierrez waits for the 1-1. Here it is. Strike call in the outside corner. 1-2. Tres Barrera is on deck for the Sharyland Rattlers. Gutierrez at the plate. Waits for the 1-2. Here it is. Took it, strike 3 called. See you later. Gutierrez retired on strikes. Brings in Tres Barrera. Barrera on the night. He's been on base 3 times. Couple of hits, stolen base, run scored. 2 for 3 on the day. Barrera waits. First one coming to him with the bases loaded. Inside ball 1. 1-0. Rattlers 3 outs away from securing the first win here in this best-of-3 series. Up 17-0. Here's the 1-0. Outside for a ball. Innings scored for the Rattlers. 1 in the first, none in the second, 9 in the third, 5 in the fourth, 2 in the 5th. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. 17 points later, they're up. Here's the pitch. Low for a ball. 3-0 to Barrera. Nowhere to put Barrera. They'll have to groove one in here. Here's the 3-0. Swing and a shot into left field. Left fielder won't get that. Off the wall on a hop. 1 run scores. It's 18. Another run scores. It's 19. A throw to second. Safe there. 2 RBIs for Barrera. An RBI double. And the carousel continues for the Sharyland Rattlers. Barrera's first 2 RBIs of the evening. And that brings in Luis Trevino. Trevino is 3 for 4. Couple of singles and a double. He's driven in 3. He'll bat with runners at second and third. He's the 8th man to hit here in the 5th. They went around the lineup and some in the 3rd. Batted 9 in the 4th. Have batted at least 8 here in the 5th. As a pitch sails over the head of Trevino, a breaking ball stayed inside. Trevino ducked away from ball 1. Now we got a courtesy runner coming into the game for Sharyland as Matt Hernandez will run for Barrera. And that's just protecting tomorrow's starting pitcher, Tres Barrera. And that will probably result in a pitching change for Eagle Pass. That's what we'll have. I'll step aside. It's 19-0. We're in the 5th. Back after this on 956sports.com. Welcome back here as we continue our coverage here on 956sports.com. Joe Bowling with you, and thanks again for joining us here for live coverage. As Ubaldo Gonzalez will hit for the Sharyland Rattlers, and he swings and drills one. Base hit, left field, first pitch, going to drive in a run. It's 20-0. As the Sharyland Rattlers continue with their hitting barrage. 20-0. Runner stopped at third base on the RBI single. And that brings in Esquivel. Esquivel, the 9th hitter to hit in the inning. Pitch coming, ball outside. One ball, no strikes. Esquivel, 0 for 3 on the day. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 3rd. Checks his swing, takes a strike, 1-1 the count. Leslie snapping some pictures of DeMarcus and I working extremely hard. When we're not working hard, we're appearing as though we're working hard when she snaps the picture at the right time. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Low in there for a strike at the knees. 1-1 to Esquivel. The new pitcher is Isaac Ramirez for Eagle Pass. He's a strike away from what would be the second out of this long fifth inning for the Sharyland Rattlers. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball, swing, and a high foul ball drifted out of play on the left side.
I was telling her how many viewers. She's like, why are you sending me numbers?
Here's the 1-2. Misses for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the Sharyland Rattlers have scored 5 times here in the 5th. That matches their run output in the 4th, which combined is 1 better than their total runs scored in the 3rd. Strike 3 called. Esquivel is rung up. Second out of the inning. First strikeout recorded by Ramirez. And it brings in a new hitter for the Sharyland Rattlers. And that's going to be Marcus Villarreal. First time he'll hit tonight, replacing Alex Venegas. Ramirez works on Villarreal. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1. It's 20-0. Oh and 1. The next pitch coming to Villarreal. Swing and a pop-up. Foul ball out of play. 0-2. That made some noise, which has been a rarity in the last 45 minutes of this game. The drum, which is still stationed below us, silent. As the Eagle Pass fans conserve their energy for tomorrow's action, which is 4 o'clock, and they'll start it all over again. Swing and a miss, strikeout, inning over. In the 5th, Sharyland scores 5 times. They do so on just 3 hits, take advantage of an error and a couple of walks. Check that, 4 hits. And strand a couple. We've played 4.5. To the bottom of the 5th, 3 outs away from wrapping this first game up. The Rattlers lead this one 20-0. High school sports continues on 956sports.com. Back here as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Eagle Pass Eagles will hit against one Eric Gutierrez. We'll try to wrap this thing up. His team up. I was referencing some football-type scoring earlier, so let's keep with it. 3 touchdowns and a missed extra point. It's 20-0. Pitch is low in the dirt for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. On the man leading off for Eagle Pass, which is Ricky Fuentes. Fuentes hitting for Cerna. Scored a pass along. 7-1 PSJA in the top of the fifth with 2 outs, changing pitchers. As Fuentes reaches. And that brings in Gonzalez. Eric Gonzalez, the leadoff hitter, will stay in the ball game. These two teams back at it tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. I don't think that I'll be here. I'm positive of that. I've been told I'm going to be heading to another venue, UTPA, much closer to home. Gonzalez at the plate. Here's the pitch. Took it for a strike, 0-1. Gonzalez tonight walked in the first inning to lead it off and then grounded out in the second. Bats here in the fifth. Swings and misses, strike 2. Gutierrez hasn't been necessarily overpowering these guys. He does have 3 strikeouts. He's allowed just 2 hits. Misses for a ball. 1-2 now on Gonzalez. But with that hit batsman to start this 5th inning, Eagle Pass had base runners in literally every inning. Throw to first. Back in time is Fuentes. The 0-2 pitch headed home to Gonzalez instead of throw to first. Back in time is Fuentes. 20-0. Next pitch coming. Swing and a pop-up. That's back here, and it's going to hit right above our head. Count 0-2 on Gonzalez. We'll point the little black car and head home after this one. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball outside, 1-2. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a foul ball out of play. Devin Torres stands on deck for the Eagle Pass Eagles. Next pitch coming. Outside for a ball. 3-2, says the home plate umpire. Leadoff man aboard. Gonzalez grounds a second. Through the second baseman's glove and into center field. Over to third, the runner. Gonzalez stops at first on the air. And it brings in Devin Torres. Or does it? No, it doesn't. Brings in Johnny Garza. Garza replaces Devin Torres, the center fielder. I was passed a note here in between innings that there was a rule passed not so long ago that if these two coaches would have agreed, and here's a big note just passed in, if these two coaches would have agreed, they would have been able to end this game in the 4th. Now, here's a note just passed. Carroll lost. Now, is that a one-game series? If that is, that's a huge upset. Here's the 1-0, swing and a miss. Carroll Tigers, arguably the prohibited favor to win that, takes on the winner of this series. They were beat tonight. And if that's a one-game series, that's a big upset. That's going to change some brackets if such things exist. As ball 2 misses. See if we can get a updated bracket. If UIL updates their brackets that quick and already advances somebody. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a foul ball. Off the bat of Johnny Garza. My broadcast partner from a year ago, Ralph Judkins, used to podcast all the games for the Carroll Tigers, but he's overseas on assignment. Otherwise, I'd be able to text him and say, hey, what's going on in the land of the Tigers? Here's the 2-2. Check swing. Did he go around? No, says the first base umpire. Ball 3. 3-2 to Garza. First two have reached here for Eagle Pass here in the 5th. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 4 and a walk. Loads the bases. First 3 reach. Bases loaded, Eagles. And now they'll allow Del Bosque to hit. Del Bosque on the night has been on twice. Reached on an error in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third. Bats in the 5th and grounds it down to third. They come home, get the force there, down to first, safe there. Del Bosque reaches on the fielder's choice. Runner forced at the plate. Shutout remains intact for Eric Gutierrez. It's still 20-0. And the bases are loaded now with 1 out. And that brings in Danny Flores. Now, Flores is 0 for 2. He grounded to the pitcher in the first, hit into a 5-4-3 double play in the third. And now a conversation between pitcher and catcher for the Sharyland Rattlers. Had a few of those in the early part of this game. Up 20-0 with the bases loaded. They have yet another here in the 5th. There's the pitch. Swing and a foul ball out of play. Strike 1. Reminding you, you can watch the archive of this immediately following this broadcast or very shortly thereafter. For those of you that missed it, it was a first-inning home run by George Maldonado that got the scoring started as a breaking ball misses. The Maldonado home run. Go back and watch that one as you watch the replay of this one. Here's a swing and a miss by Danny Flores. And then if you zip ahead to the 3rd, kick back, you can watch 14 guys hit for the Sharyland Rattlers in what took a close game and blew it open. They pushed 9 runs across. There's a strikeout as Flores is recorded out on strikes. Gutierrez notches his 4th strikeout of the ball game. He's 1 out away from putting this one in the books. He'll take on Homer Flores, who's 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch coming. Outside corner, strike 1. Next one coming to Flores in the dirt. Ball 1, 1-1. It was bases loaded, no outs. It's now bases loaded, 2 outs for the Eagle Pass. Next pitch coming to Homer Flores. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Rattlers within a strike of putting this one away. You're just joining us, you missed the fireworks. That score is not a misprint. DeMarcus Clark is right on the money with that 20-0 score. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball game over. 2 strikeouts to close it out for Gutierrez, and the Rattlers of Sharyland take the first in this best-of-3 series between the Rattlers and the Eagle Pass. They score a run in the first, 9 in the third, 5 in the fourth, 5 more in the 5th, and wrap it up with a 20-0 game. Again, a couple of hitting stars tonight for the Rattlers include George Maldonado, who's 1 out. Home run in the first was enough to win this ball game. He ended up with a homer, a double, reached base 4 times, scored 4 runs, and drove in 2. And Eric Gutierrez, the winning pitcher on the mound, goes the distance, allows 2 hits and a shutout win, strikes out 5 in the game. And at the plate, Gutierrez ended up going 3 for 5 with a single, double, a home run. He drove in 5 runs, and he scored 3. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast. Again, you can watch the archive for Leslie, for DeMarcus Clark. I'm Joe Bowling. from Laredo. Time to get in the car and drive a long, long way. Hope you enjoyed it, my friends. For 956sports.com, good night, everybody.